Subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell icon for the latest film interviews, features, and recommendations on the movies that matter. Chaitanya, it's so good to see you. There you are in Venice, standing in front of the Palazzo, where the new film, of course, premieres tonight. It's a big night, isn't it?
It is, and I'm full of excitement, full of nerves. It's a big day for us.
Chaitanya, you're living, what must be the dream for most independent filmmakers, not to take away anything from the hard work that you put in, the struggle, really the determination with which you made these films. But you've had this incredible journey. The first film came out 5 years ago, Court. It was this incredible film, featured. Everyone loved it, great reviews, traveled to all the festivals. You get the mentorship program with no less than Alfonso Cuaron. He comes on board as the executive producer on the new film, The Disciple. You get selected for Venice. It's the first film in 20 years, first Indian film in 20 years to be at any major European festival. You said that when the announcement happened, it felt surreal. Now that there you are, standing in front of the Palazzo, the night, just hours before the big premiere, has it sunk in?
Not at all. In fact, this feels doubly surreal because, everyone in Bombay has been under lockdown for the last 5 or 6 months. So to have this sense of normalcy and to see an event of this scale actually taking place, it definitely feels even more surreal than the fact that the film made it to the competition. But yes, like I said, it is an absolute honor, and it does, feel like a bit of a dream run for us, for Vivek and me, to have made these 2 films and to get such a huge platform for both of them. Can't complain. Super happy.
Right. The Disciple, the new film, Chaitanya, you've said, of course, that it's set in the world of Indian classical music. You've also said that for you, the setting comes before the story. You've also said growing up, you were actually wary of classical music. What was the entry point? Was it an anecdote? Was it was it something you read, something that you heard? What became the entry point into this world for you?
Right. I wish I could tell you like an exact moment or an exact entry point. I don't know. I think the world kind of slowly sucked me in. But yes, definitely the stories and what we call, in Hindi, the kissas and certain anecdotes, a certain, fascinating history of this music, which, because it is such a rich history, was my entry point before I started listening to the music itself. But then, I slowly kind of got really, really obsessed with it, and I started appreciating the beauty and the depth of the music itself as well.
In your interviews, Chaitanya, for The Disciple, you've said that you've spoken of falling in love with the film, falling out of love, and then falling back in love. Tell us about that falling out period, that falling out of love. When did that happen? And why did that happen?
I mean, I think it's an ongoing process all the time. But what I meant was, when you start writing, when you start working on a project, you are enamored by the setting. Like for me, it's a very fascination, curiosity-driven process. Once you achieve a certain level of insight into that world, it becomes demystified for you. So you have to go back to that initial instinct of yours where, everything is exciting for you. Everything is a process of discovery. So I think before writing the script, you have to kind of reignite that passion after having, become too familiar with the setting. And I think that's also the case with the film. Like now, I feel I'm very detached from the film, whereas when I had finished it, I was so excited and so pumped. But I think again today, it's a moment of great excitement, and it's a very deeply emotional moment for us to know that this baby of ours is going to come out in the world.
Right. The plot of the Disciple, and I read this online. I read this on the Venice Film Festival website. It's about this Indian classical music vocalist who's been diligently following the traditions and the discipline for years, but he begins to wonder whether he will achieve the excellence that he seeks. And you've spoken. I thought what was very interesting was you've spoken about internal success and failure. You've spoken about worldly success and failure. How has exploring these themes, Chaitanya, changed your own views on life and the journey?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a two-way street, that the themes that I am obsessed with or my own philosophical concerns kind of guide and educate the work that I do. So it's definitely something very personal to me. And again, it's an ongoing process. Your relationship with these themes and these concepts keeps evolving and keeps changing. But yes, there is a lot of me, and the film is very personal to me because I feel what cinema is going through right now in terms of the change, in terms of the patronage, in terms of viewing habits is not very different from what's happening with other art forms. Say, for example, Indian classical music, which is a much, much older tradition. But I do find a lot of similarities and, of course, a lot of differences as well, which is also what makes it super interesting.
You're saying that this film too comes from a personal place, and you've said that so
Mm-hmm.
did Court. You've said that, and Court
Mm-hmm.
was this brilliant film, this biting satire on our judicial system. It talks about the Marathi middle class milieu. It talks about Dalit activists. There is that incredible scene. I can never forget the wife of the manual scavenger who talks about the fact that her husband gave up. I mean, that's one of those indelible moments that one just remembers from Court. You've also said, Chaitanya, that there was a dark place for you while making that film or before
Mm-hmm.
making that film, when you
Mm-hmm.
thought of giving up. When you work from
Mm-hmm.
such personal spaces, when you're making films, I mean, does making these movies sort of purge you? I mean, does it sort of, does it purge you of the anger and the pain that was there?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Bergman used to say, it's a process of shedding skin, and which is also why it's such an enriching process because uh, I feel like I die a million deaths and I'm kind of reborn in the process of finding answers for the script. I hope it doesn't come across as too pretentious, but it is a very intense process, especially the writing process, because it's not like I know the answers and I'm just doing a formality by writing the script. Like answers for me, even in terms of life and my worldview, emerge from the work that I'm doing. So it's a search in that sense.
You've said that you were very angry while making Court, Chaitanya.
Hmm.
What was
Hmm.
the overwhelming feeling that consumed you while making The Disciple?
Right. See, again, I must clarify that when I said I was angry, I wasn't literally angry while making the film.
Uh-huh.
Uh, the the day I got the opportunity to like work on Court and to make Court, I think I was a little bit more at peace. But
Right.
I think I've come a long way since then, and I've changed as a person. And this time, my main concern and the passion that kind of motivated me was to explore the medium even more, was to find my own cinematic voice and to do justice to this super rich, super interesting, nuanced setting and world of Indian classical music.
Right. You had this opportunity, of course, to watch the master at work. You watched Cuaron make Roma. You were part of that
Hmm.
process. How did that time with him help you as a filmmaker, or contribute to really what you've achieved with the new film, if you like?
Right. I mean, it's really hard to quantify that. I would say it's going to probably take me 10 or 15 years to really comprehend and grasp the lessons, that I have gained from just not just seeing Alfonso at work, but also interacting with him, the conversation. Just yesterday, he called me and he's like, Cabron, the reviews are not going to change the film, you know, just,
Nice.
just have fun. So it's an ongoing process, but definitely, like I always say, he has expanded my vocabulary of filmmaking,
Hmm.
and in many ways, I learned what it is to be a professional filmmaker, leading a crew, handling the business side of things. And I think he's been of, tremendous value and sort of an indispensable mentor and guide in navigating, uh, my career from ever since I met him.
Right. Chaitanya, there you are, literally hours away from the first public
Yes,
screening.
yes.
Are there jitters? I mean, what do you like? What do you like hours before you show the baby to the world?
Honestly, this time I'm super relaxed in a way. I
Uh,
mean, I am nervous, but I would say I was 10 times more nervous before court.
okay.
This time it's a combination of many things. Like I said, I feel like I've changed as a person. Also, this lockdown kind of made me so numb in a way that
Hmm.
I'm still processing that this is happening. I think it's going to sink in a few days later that we actually flew down to Venice and the film premiere and the festival actually happened. But I feel confident. I feel positive. I think we have given our best in the film, and we are curious to see how it does in the real world now.
Right. I have to ask you, what's it like being at a festival in this changed world? I mean, I noticed people behind you with masks. I know you took off your
Yes,
mask only for this
only
interview.
for the
I
interview.
mean,
Yes.
what is that experience like? I mean, being at Venice. I mean, it is the first
Yeah.
festival that's doing an in-person festival after after so many
Yeah.
were cancelled. What is the
Yeah.
mood like? I mean, do you feel the love? Do you feel that people are in a sense excited to just return to watching films?
Yeah, I think the good thing is everyone's super careful, super responsible. The festival has a very strong safety protocol in place, and at the same time, this is a big sign of hope for the world of cinema that an event of this scale is taking place. Of course, it's not the same as the other years, and they have cut down on many things. But I think the spirit is exactly the same, and people are very, very excited to go back to the cinemas and to sort of relish in the pleasure of films, you know.
I have to finally ask you, Chaitanya, the
Mhm.
obvious question: what is the plan with the release in India? When will we get to see The Disciple?
You know, there's nothing that we want more than to share the film with the audiences in India. It's a film set in India, and I don't think that any other audience will fully grasp the ethos and the nuances, the cultural nuances of the film. But yet, I think it's still a bit too early to talk about the release plans in India. We are in discussion with a few people, and as you know, everything's kind of unpredictable at this point.
Right.
So let's see. But fingers crossed. Hopefully, we bring the film to Indian audiences very soon.
Right. All the best, Chaitanya. Have a lovely night.
Thank
It's a
you,
big,
Rajeev.
it's a big moment for us actually, really, to have the film in official competition. More power, and can't wait to watch the film when you come back. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajeev.
All the best,
Bye.
Chaitanya. Thank you.